imagine it. One day, you're living in the most technologically advanced civilization in the world. The next, everything you've ever known is gone. Many unfortunate souls will go without. If radiation doesn't kill them, starvation will. The lucky few will be brought to underground vaults where their every need will be met before the experiments begin. However, a select few will rise to the occasion, creating something beautiful.
Welcome back to Geek Week, and in today's video, as the thumbnail and title suggests, I'm going to be eating like a Fallout Vault Dweller for 24 hours. Well, technically 24 hours over a 5-month period. You see, this video was actually supposed to come out all the way back in December, and then a lot of things happened, and it just didn't work out that way. So I was kind of trying to plan to make this video for the new season of Fallout, and that is since concluded. This is still a great video. It's been months in the making. I'm really excited to share it with you all. What we're going to be doing today is going through Fallout foods from the official Fallout cookbook. I'm going to be making an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert. And to make things more interesting, I wanted to make sure to pick a dish from Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4. My wife and I are going to be making these dishes and trying them. We're going to give you a ranking based on how many caps we would pay for them in-game. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and start off with Fallout 3. First things first, let's go ahead and meet our dad, grow up for what feels like 16 years, escape the clutches of Vault 101 after, of course, killing the Overseer. And now, in Fallout 3, you can get an iguana on a stick from 2 separate places. In Megaton down at Jenny Stahl's shop, or in random raider camps. I decided to go for the easiest route and headed straight for Megaton, where I stole 1 iguana stick from Jenny and then ate it while beating her brother to death. You have a problem? What's up?
What the hell? I'm out of here. Oh!
Meanwhile, in real life, my wife Elizabeth and I got to cooking. For this recipe, you need to make a marinade, which requires some garlic, oil, thyme, and other spices. We made sure to add all of our ingredients to a blender. And once it was all nice and mixed, we took a sniff test. Oh.
That is oregano.
It's warm.
Yeah.
Surprisingly warm.
I think that's what adds to the smell.
Oh, wow.
Is that and the vinegar.
Oh, whoa.
And it was surprisingly potent. The next step was to let the chicken sit in the marinade for a couple of hours. We didn't really have that time, so we did it for about 15 minutes, and while it was marinating, I got to cutting up some onions to put on the skewers. After I cut up the onions, I moved space on the cutting board for the chicken, and once all the chicken was cut up into half-inch pieces, that's when we started to skewer. This recipe for the meat skewers is actually super easy to follow and didn't take much time to prep at all. Most of it was just blending the marinade together. And once the skewers were assembled, all it was just cooking them. And we could have done this on a traditional grill. In fact, that's technically what the recipe calls for, but we decided to do it on our stovetop. And once they were fully cooked, we decided to try them.
I like it. I think the marinade really helped tenderize it.
How many caps would you pay for that?
Yeah, I think I'd max out at 5. How is it?
I think if we let it marinate a little bit longer, it probably would have been a little bit better, but I don't taste like any of the seasoning.
Really?
I just taste like the char, just like chicken and onion. How many caps would I pay for this? I feel like I would pay 5 caps for this. Yeah, I pay 5 caps for this.
With the appetizer finished, it's time to move on to the main course, Deathclaw steak, and instant mash. To start this dish, witness the end of civilization, become a popsicle, watch helplessly as your wife is murdered and child is stolen, and then wake up 200 years later with rage in your heart. After exiting the vault, ignore Codsworth and head straight to Concord to help the Minutemen. Before you do, make sure you stop and greet Dogmeat. After getting inside the Museum of Freedom, grab yourself a fusion core and murder everything that moves. Talk with Preston, whose first bit of dialogue is asking you to help, get used to that, and then discover there's a piece of power armor conveniently on the roof. Get inside of it, rip a minigun off of its mount, and repeat step 8. After a couple of minutes of ruthless slaughter, a Deathclaw will emerge from the sewers, ready to receive your barrage of minigun fire. Kill it, rip part of its body out, and ignore every other conceivable responsibility. Run straight back to Sanctuary and cook yourself a Deathclaw steak. Enjoy your meal, thinking about all the hard work you did to get here, and then immediately remember that you were supposed to get an instant mash along with the steak. With this realization, frantically search each and every building in Concord before finding the instant mash in a random, dilapidated house on the outskirts of town. Instant mash. Okay, there we go. Now, with your hearty meal in your tummy, you may be feeling 50 feet tall. Today, we're making the braised pork belly Deathclaw steak from the Fallout cookbook. Liz is going to be working on that. I'm going to be working on an instant mash recipe. This is part of a larger video. Don't know why I'm explaining that because it's going to be in the video.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
that's what we're making.
Cool. Editing magic, right?
Yeah, right? To start this dish in real life, I went ahead and started cutting up some potatoes while Liz prepped the pork belly and the ginger.
So where do you have to go to get the Deathclaw steak?
You just have to kill a Deathclaw. Because in Fallout 4, the Deathclaw, like your first Deathclaw spawns really early to introduce the player to like those types of monsters and shit.
The big boys?
Yeah. I will say, in game, the Deathclaw steak doesn't take this long at all to obtain. The instant mash took longer to find than the Deathclaw steak.
Really?
Yeah. After about 10 minutes, both the pork belly and the potatoes were fully boiled. I went ahead and started working on the potatoes while Liz got to cutting the pork belly. And before you knew it, the potatoes were done. Instant mash. I would pay a pretty penny for this in Fallout. I paid quite a lot of caps for that. The next step for the pork belly is to put everything back in the pan along with the sauce and some peppers. Let it simmer, cover it, put it in the oven, and let it bake for about 2 hours. And while we wait, we're gonna go ahead and test the instant mash. We need to tell the people what we would pay for that. I would pay 25 caps for that. That's a lot of caps. I would pay 25 caps for that out in the wasteland.
I think 25 might be a little high, so I think I would go with 15. Which is still a lot, I think. It's fucking good. Considering that it's not actually instant mash.
Actual instant mash would be much lower.
Yeah.
2 hours later, it's time for the pork belly to come out of the oven and into our mouths. That sounded wrong. That sounded so wrong.
It's been 2 hours. I don't want to set up my camera again. But it turned out looking really good. It's super tender. Like, look at the way that just breaks in my hand. Is it good? Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, at first I didn't like it because it was a lot of fat. But then, like, I kept going and the flavor kept getting, like, a little stronger.
It's because we use apple cider vinegar. I would be willing to pay like 5 caps if I'm like, oh man, I'm hungry. How much would you pay for it? How much would you? Yes, you. How much would you pay for it?
I think I would pay I'll pay 10 caps for that.
Last but not least, let's make our delicious dessert straight from the Mojave. This recipe is relatively easy to make in-game. All you have to do is wake up from a really bad headache, magically obtain a lot of items from the DLC gods, and head for a Night Stalker camp. I found mine down this railroad, and after a few failed attempts, I finally got the eggs. Okay, Night Stalker egg, let's go. As for the gumdrops and sugar bombs, I was able to buy them from the least charismatic guy in Goodsprings. With all of my ingredients in hand, all I had to do was use a campfire to create my decadent dish. In real life, this is where the real game began. And there we go, you got the mushroom cloud. This recipe was by far the hardest. To begin, go ahead and set your oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and while it preheats, blend some sugar, turning it into superfine sugar, aka just powdered sugar. I really don't know why we had to do this step. We had powdered sugar, but that's what the recipe called for. Afterwards, go ahead and put the egg whites along with the cream of tartar into a stand mixer and let it mix until you get fluffy, soft peaks. This took quite a bit, but once we got it, go ahead and add in your powdered sugar. Then, again, let it stand mix until you get stiff peaks. This also took a long time, but eventually it got there. Then place it all into a piping bag, and since we didn't have that, we used a regular sandwich bag. After piping it onto a piece of parchment paper and a pan, put it in the oven for 90 minutes and then let it sit for, I kid you not, 16 hours. We woke up to these freshly baked, dried meringue cookies. Next, melt some chocolate so you can start assembling your mushroom clouds. Once assembled, add your creations to a plate with some cocoa powder to give it that explosive effect.
I guess I'm just gonna try to eat it like a sandwich. I would pay a lot of bottle caps for this. I'd pay 20.
Oh, wow.
It's chewy.
Yes.
Yeah, if I was getting that in like the Wasteland, easy like 50 caps, I think.
Wow. Wow.
That's the best thing we've made.
Woo! Okay, well, that's the end of the video. Like I said in the intro, this has been like 5-6 months in the making now. I had this idea all the way back in like July of last year, and I got all of the supplies and we filmed the first one, the appetizer. I want to say we filmed that back in like October, so I mean, a lot has changed since this video began and kind of where it's ended up. And I'm really proud of, sticking through it and seeing it all the way to the end. And I hope that, you guys enjoyed the video as much as we enjoyed making it. Was this journey worth it? I mean, yeah, kind of. It was cool. It was fun. It was cool making the intro. It was really fun, making the dishes. Surprisingly, the dishes weren't as good as I was expecting them to be, but maybe that's just, we had to use substitutions for a lot of things. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching the video all the way through. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Hopefully in another 2 weeks, I'll post another video. I'm trying to get back onto my schedule now that things have like calmed down in my life, in like my personal life, and I want to make more content. I'm excited for 2026. It's going to be a year full of movies, a year full of geeky stuff, so should be good. I'm excited. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.